Good morning, everybody. Good morning. How's everybody doing? Uh, let's see. What's today? Tuesday. Today's a Tuesday. It is February 11th. Good morning. Good morning. It's February 11th, and it is 9 o'clock in the morning here in Bangkok. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the stream. If you're considering relocating, I think they're moving things around. If you're considering relocating to Southeast Asia in 2025, or you're just curious about the best expat destination in the region, well, this is the stream for you. We're going to go into 8 different countries here in Southeast Asia: Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, Malaysia, Laos, Indonesia, and the Philippines, and then Myanmar. Myanmar is often forgotten, and for good reason, to be honest. But we're going to look at everything you need to know: the cost of living, the visa options, the healthcare, business potential, nightlife, relationship culture, promiscuity of the women, uh, and of course, how the locals treat the expats, which is extremely important. Especially when it comes to the women and relationships. So stick around a little bit. At the end, I'm going to rank all 8 countries in order of what I think they should be ranked. So stick around. Do me a favor. If you like this stream, smash the like button. Go ahead and do that. Doesn't cost a penny. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Hit the notification bell. That shall help. I'm trying to get to 16,000 subscribers in the next 2 to 3 months. So, man, they are just making a lot of noise this morning. I mean, more than usual. Crazy. Also, look down in the description. There's a lot of information down there, but there's also a host of ways that you can help support the channel. I'd appreciate that. And we also have the people that help the channel on a regular basis. They are down in the description. Their names are in the description, so you can see who helps support this channel. So there you go. All right. So first of all, there's an article I saw today. Let me see here. I wanted to go over it real quick. Let me see if this is it. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Unbelievable. Now, the first thing, this is more from Pattaya. I'm sorry, but Pattaya, I don't know how to say it. I don't want to be too offensive about it. It's not to my liking. I mean, I've been there many times, and you can go there and have a good time. And I recommend people go there at least once, maybe twice, to get the whole vibe of the place. I don't understand how some people do it, Pattaya Bomb included. I mean, he just kind of blocks it all out. I couldn't block out all the shit that goes on out there. Um, I'll give you an example. Well, I'm just looking at some things on the Pattaya news. Foreigner caught on CCTV breaking into Pattaya cannabis shop and stealing over 10,000 baht of product, which that's not really all that much, to be honest. It's a couple $100. I don't know why he would do that. Guy was from Ireland. Now it's funny that I look at the second thing. Pattaya earns major certification for top quality beach management and beauty of local beaches. And some people are relatively confused because the beaches are not that beautiful. However, when you look at this one, where's it at here? Let me see here. Where is it at? Is it on a different? Oh no, it's on my. Here we go. All right. Tourists allegedly relieved themselves near Pattaya police station as restrooms shut down. I guess they locked the restrooms because there's a shortage of water. And so you have supposedly Thai and foreigners. They gather around the police station and they have drinks and they talk. And apparently they've been peeing and pooping all around the area. And, some of these private restrooms, they cost 5 or 10 baht. Now, I understand it's a little bit of a hassle, but Jesus Christ, if you got to take a dump, pay the 5 or 10 baht and go in a toilet. It's just disgusting that you take a crap out in public. And the same thing, listen, even peeing. I mean, if there's nowhere to pee, then pay the 5 baht, pay the 10 baht. Don't be cheap. The situation has caused strong odors to spread through the area. Many Thai visitors complained that as soon as they stepped out of their cars in front of the station, they were met with the overpowering stench of urine carried by the wind. Residents are now urging Pattaya police to take immediate action. You think the cops don't see people out there taking a piss? Public restrooms are available at a nearby shopping mall, but hours are limited. There have been proposals for many years to operate public free restrooms on Pattaya Beach, even allegedly underground restrooms, but they have not moved forward. So here we go again. Things are not being done. And, what's funny is that they say that the beaches are so beautiful. How can they be beautiful when all you smell is piss? I don't get it. Motorcycle drivers are demanding immediate action against illegal app-based riders in Pattaya. I understand if they're illegal, but if you don't like Grab or Bolt or any of these other things, maybe you need to get your act together, because that's why people use the apps. They use the apps because they don't want to deal with asshole motorbike drivers, taxi drivers. This goes for all over, but in Bangkok as well. When I leave my house, I'll take a motorbike over here. Today, so much traffic, I couldn't believe it. It took like 15 minutes to get from my house to here, and it usually takes like 3 minutes. But I always call an app because I don't want to have to wait for a taxi to come into my village, which is, and I don't want to have to walk out to the street. Then you walk out to the street and someone go, no, I don't want to go there. Okay. You don't get any money then. And, then now it's coming to, listen, I admit it, I went into Starbucks the other day. I was with Nicholas. I had 2,000 baht, but I needed to change 1,000 baht to give him 500 baht. I didn't want to give him 1,000 because then, I wanted the money. So I decided I'm going to go into Starbucks. I'm going to see if they can change it. And if they can't change it, I'll just ask him, let me have a cookie, and I'll give him the cookie. He can have the cookie, and I'll get the change. And what do they say to me? We're very sorry, but we don't take cash. And I just went, you know what? I'm out of here. And I left. When people stop taking cash, I'm sorry, I like the QR code. I like using a credit card. I like all these options. Some of these options, I like them. Now, I understand you don't want to have crypto. Okay, I understand it. Maybe it's not in your best interest. But when you go in and they don't take cash, cash is legal tender. Cash is to be used to purchase things when you're buying. That's what it's for. That's the purpose of it. That's why it's printed. So the fact that they didn't want to take my money, I just went, You know what? This is this is why I don't go to Starbucks anymore, because they've become such a bullshit organization. It's too much for me. All right, what else was I going to say? Oh God, a Ugandan woman on a 603-day overstay caught after dramatic Pattaya beach chase. She immediately fell to the ground as if she were having a seizure. But this was fake. So I guess she's getting sent back to Uganda. I don't know. And the last thing is that I thought was kind of, I don't want to say it's funny. It's unusual. Pattaya residents alleged to lose sleep as pet lion roars all night in Pratumnak Hill area. When are governments going to understand that owning a wild animal should not be permitted? I hate to say it. I don't care where you are. Then start a zoo. The owner received an initial warning from the authorities after the incident. The lion, however, is legally licensed and has all the proper paperwork as required by Thai law. Owning a lion is legal in Thailand. Well, it shouldn't be unless you have a zoo. Many social netizens stated, legal or not, they found keeping a lion in a crowded residential neighborhood in a tourist city to be poor judgment. That's at best, poor judgment. It's funny you say that, Gail, and I'll tell you why. I got into a taxi. I said to the guy, do you take QR code or scan? Or can I transfer money? Some guy, no. I said, okay. I get into the next taxi. No. I said, okay. I got out. I went in, and the next guy goes, what's their problem? I go, they don't take a transfer. Do you take transfer? Of course. I jumped in his taxi, got the ride. So here it is. They only take cash, and then you go to Starbucks, and they don't take cash. So, okay, this is the way it is. But that's okay. I won't go to a place that they won't take cash, because the bottom line is cash is king, baby. No matter where you are, if you got cash, that's the way that you need to pay. The bottom line is that's how you can pay. You can always pay with cash. Oh, no. We don't accept that because we don't want people getting robbed. And we don't. Oh, come on. Listen, I understand. I used to carry a wad of cash around with me, and I never worried about getting beat up or anything like that, because I didn't put myself in that kind of a position. I didn't go into bad neighborhoods where there were 10 guys sitting around drinking, and I walked by and they were like, let's roll this guy. I never did that. If I was walking around with 30,000, 40,000 baht, whatever it was, I was careful. But most of the time, especially now, maybe I have a couple thousand in my wallet, like, hidden. But most of the time, I don't have more than 500 or 1,000 baht in my pocket. And it's usually because I'll just pay the moto drivers, or I'll pay a taxi with cash, and I'll just go, I don't have to worry about asking them, oh, do you take a transfer? How can I pay you? They don't worry about this. So good evening. So, I think that's interesting. It is something to think about, but I wouldn't get all bent out of shape about it. However, things happen. So I would say always carry some cash and always have money in your bank so that you can pay by QR code or with a credit card or something like that. So I will say this. When I went to the hospital for Alex the other day, as soon as you check in, CR code? You mean QR code? Yes, they can. If you have a bank account, you can. And a tourist can have a bank account here, but you're going to have to look around a little bit, and it depends on what banks you go to. But you can. Now, what the hell was I going to say? I don't remember. Dale, you threw me off track. Hospital. As soon as you go into the hospital, they want your deposit. They're like, okay. And we're not talking about, okay, you give 50% or you give 20%. No, you give damn near all of it. That's the deposit. So I have an American Express card, and the limit on it is 160,000 baht. Now, it used to be that was around $5,000. Now it's less, but all right, whatever. I don't want to have to ask them, can I bump it up? Because they're going to be, oh, well, send us in your financials and all this. It's a pain in the ass. So I go, all right, that's enough. I don't like to use the credit card that much, whatever. Now, the amount they wanted at the hospital was 300,000 baht. My limit is 160. American Express is, to me, is an excellent credit card if you're going to have a credit card. I just called them up. I said, listen, I need to make a payment of 325,000 baht. I will put the money, I will send you the money. You will have the money. My limit is only 160,000, but then I'm going to want to make a payment. Okay. I went in and I'm thinking to myself, please, please, you know, I called up the hospital first to make sure they took American Express. And, most hospitals do. Almost every hospital I've ever been to, I can't think of a hospital that didn't take it. But I just wanted to make sure, because I would have just, kept the cash and paid in cash. And so I sent the money to American Express. They had all the money. I went in and I was like, please, I hope it goes through. I hope there's no problem. I hope there's no problem. I'm praying to myself. And it went through. 300K. Then afterwards, it was, oh, it's only going to be this much. And then guess what? It was $1,500 more than they said it would be. Now, some of that was because Alex was in the ICU, but I still am trying to figure out, well, how did they come up with $1,500 for 12 hours in the ICU? I just don't see it, but whatever. He's done. He's on his way. And on Saturday, he goes to the doctor again. And right now, his mouth is shut with elastic, really stiff elastic. He can't open his mouth. On Saturday, they'll put some elastic on his in his mouth, and he'll be able to take that off. His mouth will be a little bit open, and he'll take the elastic off when he's eating, and his mouth will be a little bit open, and he can have like yogurt and mashed potatoes and things like that. So he'll be able to eat, and hopefully he won't lose any more weight. No, the ICU was not planned, but it was not a major emergency. It was just something. He had a hematoma on his left jaw, and they put a tube through his nose because he was having some problems breathing when they pulled out the tube for the anesthesia. Anyway, whatever, it's done. Paid. Good deal. Alex, he's not a happy camper, but I wouldn't be a happy camper either. He's hungry. He's irritable. He's a little bit pissed off. But I think once we start shoveling some protein shakes, because he can't even drink a protein shake now. He can drink the ones from the mall, from the grocery, but he can't drink a real thick one with all kinds of fruit in it and whatever else is in it, just to bump up the calories. He can't drink it right now. It's too thick and it's too much for him. So I can't wait for Saturday. Anyway, so let's get started on this. let's get started. All right. Now, the first place that we're going to look at is Thailand. And obviously, Thailand, I live here. I like the place. I think highly of this place. Even though there are some negatives that bother me, I think very highly of the place. Now, you can get by on maybe $1,000 a month. You can live $1,500 to $2,000 a month. You can live fairly, you can live okay. You got to watch your money. And you're not going to be living high in the hog. You're not going to be living in some mansion or some big apartment. But you can have a little bit of fun going out. You pay for your transportation, your food, everything else. Now, if you're in Bangkok, that's not going to go as far. So maybe you need $2,000 to $3,000. That will go a lot farther. You'll be able to go out when you want. You won't have to really be as strict with your budget. So that's something you need to think about. That Thailand is still very cost effective. The visa options, there's the tourist visa, the non-immigrant B visa, the non-immigrant immigrant M visa, which is a media visa if you're working in the media, an OA visa, O visa, smart visa, education visa, the elite visa. I think there's, what is it, the DMV. What the hell's it called? DTV or something like that. LTR. I guess that's what it is, the LTR visa. But even that is a little bit problematic. It's only good for 6 months and you have to extend every 6 months. Okay. Now, that's not saying that it's a terrible thing. Listen, you got options. And that's what the good thing is about Thailand. Thailand's healthcare is top notch in Bangkok, Chiang Mai, Phuket. And the prices are generally a fraction of what the prices in the West are. Major hospitals like Bumrungrad are world renowned, and health insurance generally is pretty affordable. You may not always be able to go to those best hospitals because the prices are higher, but it depends on what kind of insurance you have and where you're going to go. The nightlife, obviously, we know the nightlife here in Pattaya and to some of the more chill bars in like Chiang Mai. There's something for everyone here. Even those who like the same sex, they have things here. It's a party city. There's clubs, rooftop bars, little speakeasies. It's where the expats and tourists come to let loose. But you got to be careful in places like Pat Pong and even Khao San Road because things can be a little bit sleazy. Women in relationships, Thai women tend to be traditional and family oriented. In smaller cities, they're generally conservative, and you should expect stable, long term relationships. Sometimes I have no idea why my wife is with me. I just go, why has she stayed with me all these years? Am I that good? Maybe I am. But I think it's just they get into a relationship and that's it. You're theirs. They'll take you for better or worse. In places like in Bangkok, some places the relationships are more casual, and of course, the sex industry can skew things a little bit for expats, and of course, tourists. Now, the tourist industry has built a reputation for open relationships and a more relaxed approach to intimacy, especially in places like Bangkok and Pattaya. Outside of the tourist zone, though, Thai women typically are looking for commitment and stability, especially in the rural areas. Unless you're going to some karaoke bar or something and you're hooking up with a girl there, she may not be looking for what you're looking for if you're looking for something stable. Thailand is a great country for starting a business, especially in tourism or e-commerce. However, navigating bureaucracy can be tricky. You'll need a work permit if you're employed, and many expats start businesses in the tourism or hospitality sector. Thailand has excellent internet and fast fiber connections. Some of the rural areas may have a little spotty service, but digital nomads can thrive in places like Chiang Mai. Um, and, the co working scene is always fairly big. The expat scene in Thailand is huge, especially in Bangkok, Chiang Mai, Pattaya. And whether you're retired, whether you're a business owner, you're a digital nomad, there is a community if you want there to be one for you. All right. So let's go to the next one. We're going to go to Indonesia second. Uh, the cost of living in Indonesia is quite affordable, especially outside of Bali. You can live comfortably for $1,000 to $1,500 a month. In places like Jakarta or Bali, you're going to pay more, especially for the housing. Now, your tourist visa is 30 days extendable. Social culture visa, a more flexible visa, often used for long-term stays and can be renewed every 60 days. Kitas, a temporary stay for employees, entrepreneurs, and those married to Indonesian citizens. I know a guy who has one of these visas. Retirement visa for those over 55 with financial requirements. Okay, healthcare. Indonesia's healthcare is good in major cities, but not as developed in rural areas. That's pretty much the case all over. Bali has a lot of wellness centers, and Jakarta has good hospitals. For anything serious, though, you may need to go to Singapore or, say, Bangkok. Jakarta has a great nightlife scene with upscale clubs and bars. Bali has a laid back vibe with beach clubs and bars for a more relaxed experience. Indonesian women are generally traditional, especially in the rural areas. In major cities like Jakarta and Bali, the dating scene is more liberal, but most women are looking for long term commitments. Now, casual relationships are not so common in Indonesia, especially outside of tourist zones like Bali. The culture is generally quite conservative and commitment is valued. So if you're in some little rinky dink village and you see some girl and you go, oh my God, she's so beautiful. Wow. And you let her know, and she all of a sudden she goes, foreigner? Oh, wow. Guess what? You're probably going to be in a committed relationship. If you just happen to sleep with her and you think you're gonna just run away, probably not, because Papa's going to come looking for you with a shotgun. Um, Indonesia offers numerous opportunities in tourism, hospitality, and agriculture. The business environment is improving, but bureaucracy can be a challenge. Digital nomads often find Bali a welcoming spot to set up shop. Internet is decent in major cities like Jakarta and Bali, but can be slower in rural areas. I didn't have any problem with the internet when I was in Bali. I had no problems there. The internet was quite good. Expat community. Bali is a hot spot for expats, particularly digital nomads, while Jakarta and other major cities host a more business-focused expat community. All right, the next one, the Philippines. We got anybody out here? What's going on here? Can you guys hear me? Is the audio good? And by the way, I have my Killer Clowns t-shirt. And you know what? I washed it about a month ago. And then all of a sudden I couldn't find it. And I'm looking for it. I'm going, where is that shirt? And I thought, son of a bitch, did they take it at the washing, at the laundromat? Did the lady accidentally lose it? What happened? And then guess what? I found it behind my bookcase. I don't know how it got there. I probably threw it and I missed and I didn't see it. But I found it the other day. I washed it. And here we are with the Killer Clowns. So, let me get back to this. The Philippines, of course, offers an affordable lifestyle. And in cities like Manila and Cebu, you might expect to spend around $1,500 to $2,000. You can live for even cheaper in places like Davao or Dumaguete. Now, the tourist visas for 30 days, extendable up to 3 years. I thought there was a 3-year visa, but it wasn't a tourist visa that you had to extend every 3 years. Retirement visa available for those over 50 with specific financial requirements. There's also a special work permit for foreigners on temporary projects and special investor resident visa for those investing in the country. The Philippines offers public and private health care with decent facilities in major cities. However, for serious medical needs, you may need to go to Singapore or, say, Bangkok. I don't understand this because the Philippines, man, they get all these nurses. And I guess the nurses go abroad to work, but they don't have enough in their own country. I don't understand it. The Philippines is known for a lively nightlife scene, which I can attest to, especially in Manila and Cebu. I've been in Manila, Cebu, Angeles, Boracay. I've been in a lot of places in the Philippines. I haven't gone there since my boxing days. But I used to go with the guys. We used to go out as a team. There'd be like 6 to 8 of us, something like it, maybe even 10. And we'd go hang out in some place, and we would just tear it up. It was crazy, but it was a lot of fun. We'd go into the hotels, and we'd all have breakfast. It would be the buffet breakfast or whatever. And there'd be 10 of us, 12 of us, whatever it was. And we always had a great time. The Philippines was really nice. The people were really nice to us. The Philippines party scene is more laid back compared to Thailand, but it is, like I said, a lot of fun. Filipino women are often seen as caring, family-oriented, and traditional. Many value stability in relationships, but there's also a laid-back vibe when dating in urban areas. And I would say just be careful of the girl that you're with. Be careful of the girl that you choose. Is she someone who, she values you and values the relationship, and she's like, this is my man, and that's it. Boom. There is none of this. Oh, I'm going to go to this other guy. Oh, what about that guy over there? He's kind of cute. There's none of that. If there is, forget about him, because you don't want them, because they're going to cause you headaches. The Philippines is a mix of conservative and liberal attitudes. While casual relationships are more common than in places like Vietnam or Indonesia, Filipino culture tends to lean towards long-term commitment once in a serious relationship. Yeah. So, there's that 3-time rule. Once, okay, some of them, they fall in love right away. I mean, to be honest, I've had situations where I was with them one time, and the next thing I know, they're showing up at the hotel. And you're like, they're in the lobby waiting for you. They're waiting for 8 hours. They're waiting for you to come back. And you're like, it caused a couple of uncomfortable situations with me. Philippines has a growing economy, and sectors like business process outsourcing and tech are booming. There are opportunities for foreign business owners, but the bureaucratic system can be frustrating at times. And I know several people who have done business there, and they hate it because of the bureaucracy and corruption. So you might want to think about that. Also, the call centers. There's a lot of call centers there, and guess what? AI is taking over. Those call centers, some of them, they're gone because the AI is going to take over, and the people they're not going to be able to work anymore because they're not needed. Internet speeds are improving, but still slower compared to other countries in Southeast Asia. Metro, Manila, and Cebu have better connections, but rural areas may face challenges. Let me tell you something. When I was in Cebu, I was always there for boxing. I was always going to cover a fight, or I was going to write an article or whatever it was. And I knew one particular guy. He was a businessman, but he had a boxing gym. Very nice guy, great guy. And man, he invited us up to his house one night. There was a lot of people there, and I mean, his house was so phenomenal. You're up on the hill, you look down, and you can see all of Cebu, the lights of Cebu. And the guy was a great guy. I mean, he really knew his boxing. And what was great is that he and I talked boxing, and he was older than me, but we talked boxing. And he said, listen, how about tomorrow night we go out to dinner, me and you. We'll just go out. We'll drink some wine. We'll have some good food, and we're going to talk boxing. He said, because I don't know anybody that knows boxing like you. Because he knew a lot about boxing, like old boxing. I mean, like from the 1900s and the 20s, his history of boxing. So we went out and we had such a fantastic time in this Spanish restaurant. And we just talked boxing, we talked about all kinds of fighters, who was the best in this era. We had such a good time. And I always remember that. So I love that guy. He's great guy. And yeah, he's done a lot for boxing in the Philippines. Expat community. The expat community is significant in the Philippines, particularly in cities like Manila, Cebu, and Davao. Expats are involved in business, teaching, or the growing digital nomad scene. Okay, so that is the Philippines, right? Let's talk about Laos. It's one of the more affordable places in Southeast Asia to live. And you can get by on $800 to $1,200 a month in Vientiane or Luang Prabang. And, I've been to both those places. It's been a while since I've been to Vientiane, but I went to Luang Prabang. I don't know if it was a year or two ago when I went on my sleeper bus ride to Hanoi from Luang Prabang. And what I would say is that in Luang Prabang, you can find a place to stay, a decent little place, and you're paying peanuts, man. Rent for basic one-bedroom apartment is $200 to $300 outside of the main tourist areas, which keeps the cost of living low. And what I'll say is I stayed in a place, and it was just a guest house, and it was like $5 a night. And I was like, are you kidding me? I mean, $5 a night. Hey, Andy, how you doing? How's everything? $5 a night. I'm in this place, and I just go, do I want to stay in this place? Is it that? And then I go, can I look at it? Yeah, okay. It's on the second floor. I go up there, and it's this room, and you open the wooden windows, and you see the river. I forget the name of the river. It was the Mekong, I think. You open the wood. Had wooden windows. You open them up, and you see the Mekong. It's like maybe it's 100 meters away, but you can see it. And I'm like, what a view, man! I open the window up. I would sit there on my sofa. I do a little work. I look over. Boom! There's the Mekong. I was like, this is great. $5 a night. Good to hear, Andy. All right, so let's get back into the Lao thing here. Now, Lao is quite, I would say it's probably 30 years behind Thailand, maybe even more. They have a 30-day extendable tourist visa. They have a business visa, which is valid for up to 30 days and extendable. Temporary resident visa for those living and working long-term, especially for those employed by a Lao company or NGO. Investor visa, if you want to invest in a Lao business, there are long-term options. Healthcare, which is important, still developing in Vientiane. You'll find some decent clinics, but for anything serious, You should go to Thailand or even Vietnam for medical care. Local health care is affordable, but it's quite basic. Yeah, it's a little too basic for me. Laos has more laid back nightlife, a more laid back nightlife scene compared to other countries on this list. Cities like Vientiane and Luang Prabang have small bars and cafes, but they aren't known for wild nightlife. If you're looking for peace and quiet with a few drinks, uh, Laos is great. Yeah, I mean, I was there and I went out at night and I was just kind of looking around and I didn't really see anything. They had some places where people go eat, like they had a big square. I don't remember the name of it. It was like a food court. And you went there, they had like 50 different vendors selling all kinds of things. And then you go sit with your friends at a table. Now you can buy beer or you can just eat food or you can have both or whatever you want. So if you want to go party there, you can party until they close, which I think was like 12 o'clock or something. It's not like they stay open all night and it's a big place to party. It's not. Lao women are traditionally family-oriented and conservative, especially in rural areas. Relationships are typically serious with a focus on long-term commitment rather than casual dating. However, in larger cities, you may encounter a more liberal dating scene. That's how it usually is in these countries. In the cities, people are a little more forward thinking. They're not thinking about, their traditions quite as much. They're not really worried about it. If they can date you for 2 weeks and then they think, oh, maybe something's going to happen, well, good, then that's fine. The culture in Laos is more reserved and promiscuity is not widely accepted. Relationships tend to lean towards long-term commitment and casual hookups are less common than in places like Thailand. Um, yeah, I mean, that I don't know what I'm saying. That's what I found to be true. Not that I was really like looking to hook up or anything like that, uh, because I was always with someone when I went there. But I know if the opportunity arose, yeah, maybe you could get involved, but it's going to be a relationship. Just the way it is. I don't understand what you're saying, and it doesn't really matter. Oh my God! Can you speak English, please? Oh God! Laos is still developing in terms of business opportunities, but it has potential in sectors like agriculture, hydropower, and tourism. I think tourism is on the increase there. And when I was in Luang Prabang, there were Prabang for some reason. The business climate can be challenging due to bureaucratic red tape, and the infrastructure outside major cities can be limited. However, for those with patience and a willingness to navigate the system and probably some cash, because all these they're going to cost, it's going to cost you. That's how it works. You want to get through the red tape, you got to grease the wheels a little bit, but there are opportunities. Internet in Laos is generally slower than in Thailand, Vietnam, or Malaysia, but decent in urban areas. Expect more reliable connections in Vientiane and other large cities. Those speeds can fluctuate. Yeah, I didn't really have a hard time with the internet in Luang Prabang, but I wouldn't call it great. It definitely wasn't speedy. The expat community in Laos is small but growing. Many expats are involved in NGOs teaching or tourism. The community tends to be more tight knit, and you'll find fewer digital nomads compared to the other countries on this list. I did meet a guy. I went there and I met a couple of people from Spain, and they were great. Pedro and oh shit, I can't remember her name. I don't know. It was Pedro and his lady. I can't remember. I'm blanking out right now. Very nice people. I still talk to them periodically. I also met another guy there, but Um, I met one guy there who was flying a drone because I had thought, I don't think I'm going to bring my drone here. It's too much of a pain in the ass. Because every time you go somewhere, like Vietnam, I would not fly my drone there. You have to get permission for every flight that you take. So if you go somewhere and you're going to fly, like in the day, you're going to go to 3 different destinations and you're going to fly the drone in 3 different places. You're supposed to tell them every place that you go. But in Laos, I found out was not really that difficult, but you had to. I don't want to get in any trouble by just flying the drone, not having permission and everything like that. So I didn't fly it, but I met a guy there flying his drone and we talked for a while. And he was a photographer, part-time photographer, and he flew the drone and he made little videos and stuff like that for fun, but he was a teacher. All right, so let's see here. That's Laos. We went to Myanmar. We got to talk about Myanmar. Now, I love Myanmar. Let me just get that out of the way. I love it. Now, I've only visited there, and I've been there for a couple of lengthy spells, and I've been there probably now about 10 times, maybe more. I'm not sure. And I have a guy there who helps me out, takes me around, shows me things, explains things to me. He's a fixer. He's a guide. It's affordable. However, you get what you pay for. You can live comfortably on $800 to $1,500 a month, and rents are as little as $300 for a basic apartment in major cities. I'd say if you want a really nice apartment, it might cost you $500. Tourist visa available for 28 days, extendable one time. Business visa for those running businesses or working. Long-term investors, you have an investment chance, an opportunity. And a work visa for foreign workers employed by a Myanmar company. Healthcare in Myanmar is quite basic. Let me just tell you that. And I did go there for something. What was it? I had something. Hey, how you doing? I had something. What the hell was it? Well, I had a cut or something. I forget what it was. Stitches. And what I did was I went in and I said, I have this, whatever it was. I don't even remember. And I went into the place and they said, okay, come back with us. All right. They looked at it and they go, okay. They cleaned it off real quick. And then they put some bandages on. That's all they did. And then I left and it was like dirt cheap. It was like $3 or something. But that was about the only thing. I was just like, you need to clean this. And, and that was about all that I wanted done there. The nightlife, it's subdued there. I know about the nightlife in Myanmar. I have gone out many times there. And they do have some little, in Yangon, they have some little discos, nightclub kind of thing. It's not like a huge party place. It's not exactly vibrant. That you want to go out and have a couple of drinks. It's a good place to do that. Now, they have these things where, I don't even remember what they're called, but you go in, it's like a show. You go in, you sit down, you get your seat, and then these girls come out. Maybe there's 10 girls. They all come out, they march out, and they prance around. Then they turn around and come back, and then they go down the center aisle and they walk towards you. And if you want, you can give them like little tips. You can give them $1, you can give them $5, you can give them $20, whatever you want. Now, if you want them to come have a drink with you, you got to pay a little bit of money, and then they come and sit with you. Then you got to give them a little money. You got to give them a drink, and they'll sit with you. And, it's hard. I mean, I speak a few words of Burmese, but maybe 10 words. That's it. It's very difficult to communicate. So on a couple occasions, I was with some friends, and we met a couple of girls that spoke somewhat decent English, and that was fun. Okay, but it's not a party place. You go there and it's like the little shows that they have. All right, and you can take the girls home if you want, but you're gonna have to pay. And I mean, that's how it is there, and substantial amounts. You might have to pay $100, which in a place like Myanmar, that's a lot of money. Myanmar women tend to be quite reserved and traditional. Family is very important, and the relationship is serious. The social culture doesn't emphasize casual dating or promiscuity. Not at all. I mean, if you go there and you want to hook up with somebody, man, you better put the work in. You're not going to go there on a little 1 week trip, meet a girl, fall in love, have sex with her, and then go home and be thinking about her and calling her. And I mean, it's just not that easy. Some people don't even have telephones. Casual relationships are not common in Myanmar, and the culture is very conservative. Most people are looking for committed long-term partnerships. If you're living there, okay. If you want to live there, I only knew one guy who lived there. Everybody else I knew maybe stayed for a couple of days or maybe 3 months. But the people that I knew who were staying long term, I knew one French guy, and that was it. That was all. Internet speed, not very good. Slower than all the other countries. Yangon and Mandalay have decent connections, but I would say you'd be lucky to watch YouTube videos and be able to watch them all the way through without any buffer. I've been to Mandalay, and I've taken a train from Yangon all the way down to the south of Myanmar, and I've streamed. However, the streams were very spotty. It was very difficult to have a good connection. The expat community is relatively small in Myanmar, concentrating mostly in Yangon. Expats tend to be involved in NGOs, business, or education. Let me see something. What is the hell is the name of it? Oh, Jesus Christ. What do they call it? Hang on a second. Let me get this through my head here. Um, hmm. I have gone to uh, we're having a great time here. And well, I don't speak Ebonics, you know. I don't speak Ebonics, and I'm not going to learn it for some guy coming in here. I have no idea what the hell the guy's saying, man. I can't remember what the hell the name of it is. What the hell do they call that place? Hang on a second. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Okay. Let's see here. What happened to it? Foreign Correspondence Club. And I'm trying to find the name of this pub. I can't remember the name of the pub. Where is it? Used to be a great. It was the FCC, Foreign Correspondence Club in Yangon. Um, and I don't really know what the hell the name of it is now. And we've been. I went to Myanmar with Mr. Billy, and we went into the Strand, and, and we met a girl there, and that was kind of fun. And we had a drink with her and everything. It was all right. Um, let's see here. This is not it. Is this it here? Seventh joint? No, that's not it either. Wow. I don't know what happened to it. They just maybe it's not open anymore. I don't know. I don't know. I can't find it. Let me see here. I really want to find it. Huh. Very nice bar. It had um, like the bar was all made of a really fine like teak, and you sit down at the tables and they're very nice, and they have a couple of pool tables and darts, and I mean, it was a great place, but I don't remember what the name of it is, and I can't find it. So anyway, let's move on here, and that's where the expats used to go. And this is only a couple of years ago, so I'm sure it's still there. I can't see it closing down. It was a really nice place, and they charged. It was a Western style place, and they charged top dollar. I mean, you go there, like for a soda, you might pay $3. And for a meal, you might pay $7 to $10. It wasn't cheap. So anyway, all right, Philippines, Indonesia, we talked about that. G'day, mate. Malaysia. Now, Malaysia is a little more expensive than Vietnam and Cambodia, but it is still affordable. You can live comfortably on $1,500 to $2,000 in Kuala Lumpur or Penang, and you can rent a one-bedroom apartment from anywhere in Kuala Lumpur for about $400 to $600. Tourist visas are good for up to 90 days, depending on your nationality, and you can get an employment pass if you're an expat who is working in Malaysia. Legally, you can get a Malaysia My Second Home long-term visa for retirees with a fair amount of savings. It's going to cost you. They raised it from before, and so now it's the amount you need. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's fairly high. And then you can get a student visa if you're coming to study in Malaysia. Healthcare in Malaysia is quite good. It's top tier, especially in Kuala Lumpur and Penang. It's one of the best places for healthcare in Southeast Asia. And also, Kuala Lumpur is also a hotspot for nightlife with upscale clubs, rooftop bars, and a lively restaurant scene. Penang and Langkawi have a more relaxed vibe, but there's still plenty to enjoy. And I just remembered, I forgot Singapore. But let's get past that. Malaysian women tend to be conservative, especially in the Malay Muslim majority areas. In cities like Kuala Lumpur, you find more cosmopolitan attitudes, but relationships are generally expected to be serious and long term. For the horny men out there, promiscuity, promiscuity, promis, promiscu. Oh my God, promiscuity isn't as common in Malaysia as in Thailand. The culture is more conservative, and casual relationships are generally frowned upon. Malaysia has a well-developed business infrastructure, especially in tech, finance, and manufacturing. It's a relatively easy country to start a business with solid government support for foreign investment. Malaysia has one of the fastest internet speeds in the region. especially in urban areas like Kuala Lumpur. It's great for digital nomads and remote workers. The expat community in Malaysia is large and diverse, and I mean diverse, especially in Kuala Lumpur. Many expats are professionals working in finance, tech, and healthcare. Um, Hang on a second here. Hey, Dowlo, how you doing? I do not remember that freaking pub in Yangon. I don't know what the name of it is. Good morning. Good morning. Well, you have to wait to the end of the stream, and I'll break that down for you. Let's see here. All right. Now, as of the latest data, um, here are the rankings of Southeast Asian countries by median fixed broadband internet speeds. Number one. Well, we're not going to go number one. We're going to go number 9. Myanmar, 19.3 megabytes per second. Indonesia, 25.89. Laos, 29.22. Brunei, why do they have Brunei in there? Wait a minute, hang on. Let me do this again here. Okay. Myanmar is number 9. Cambodia is number 8. Laos is number 7, with just slightly faster than Cambodia. Indonesia is number 6, 50.03 megabytes per second. Number 5 is the Philippines, 71.17 megabytes per second, which is pretty slow. Vietnam is 120.88 at number 4. Number 3 is Malaysia, 137.12 megabytes per second. Number 2, Thailand, 232.30 megabytes per second. And number 1 is Singapore, 284.05. So there you have it for that. All right, so let me go back here. Let me see something here. We already went over Malaysia. What is this? Cambodia. Yes, we have to talk about Cambodia. Oh, that's right. You're coming. Yeah, Samut Bakan would be a good place for you since your wife lives there part time, just like you. So I would say just keep going there. Okay. Cambodia is one of the cheapest places to live in Southeast Asia, and you can get by for $1,000 to $1,500. I'd say $1,000's a little low because I know people who 20 years ago were living off of $1,000 a month, and they were like complaining they didn't have enough money. Rent for a one-bedroom apartment can be as low as $250 to $400. I think my buddy pays $400 a month for his $450 for his place, but he said it's really, really nice. Tourist visa good for 30 days with a possible extension. Business visa, it's one of the easiest to get for expats with a 30-day validity and easy renewals. Retirement visa, minimum financial requirements. In fact, my buddy said they didn't even look at his financial requirements, and he has a retirement visa. I think it's 290 for the first month, 270 every month afterwards when you're renewing. And you can get an investment visa. Healthcare in Cambodia is very basic, and for major treatments, you need to go to Thailand or Vietnam or Singapore or wherever. Medical facilities in Phnom Penh and Siem Reap are decent, but many lack advanced care. Phnom Penh and Siem Reap, and also Sihanoukville, they have a very relaxed nightlife scene compared to Thailand. But there are plenty of bars, restaurants, and clubs. They're just less intense than tourist hotspots in Thailand. They're not so in your face, and yeah, they're not so in your face. Cambodian women are typically traditional and family oriented, especially in the rural areas. They seek stability and long term commitment in relationships. There's a theme here now, if you notice that. Casual relationships are rare, especially outside major tourist zones. The culture is conservative, with most women seeking committed relationships. Yeah, from what I know, if you go outside of the major areas, the major cities, the tourist areas, it's not like you're going to meet a girl playing pool and you're going to sleep with her that night. That ain't going to happen. Now, in the major cities, it happens. Cambodia's business environment is quite friendly with low startup and minimum bureaucracy. However, the infrastructure isn't as developed as other Southeast Asian countries, and some industries are still growing. Yeah, the infrastructure in Cambodia still is lacking. It needs a lot of work, but they are getting that Chinese money, and that is helping them to progress. Phnom Penh down by Riverside is phenomenal now compared to how it used to be. And they have the casino. Casino didn't used to be there when I first started going there. When I first started going there, I've said this before. When I first started going to Phnom Penh, you had to bring cash. That's all. You have cash, and if something happens, somebody robs you, then somebody's going to have to FedEx you some cash because they didn't take credit cards. There were no ATMs, and they didn't have Western Union or MoneyGram. Then what happened was they had Western Union. So you could have some money sent over to you. And one time, because I stayed a little bit longer and whatever happened, I spent too much money. I had to call my wife up and go, I need $200 here. Send me the money. You sent me the money. Why? Just send me the money. Okay. Sent me the money. And then I had enough to get by on. But I was like, man, this sucks. That's how it used to be. And now, they have ATMs all over, and it is much, much better. But the infrastructure is lacking. You'll get decent internet in Phnom Penh and Siem Reap, but it's not as fast or as reliable as Thailand or Vietnam. And in Phnom Penh and Siem Reap, the expat community is growing, and most people in the expat community are involved in teaching, tourism, or business. All right, now, Vietnam. Yeah, Vietnam is the one that I have not covered. Let's go over that. Oh, by the way, today, the US dollar, you get 34.03. It's above 34 again, Thai baht. The air quality, I know this because of my nose. It's stuffed up and it's hard to breathe. 147. It's unhealthy for sensitive individuals. 63% humidity, low of 25 degrees Celsius. That's 77. High of 33, which is 91.4 Fahrenheit. Low of 22, which is 71.6. And the feel like temperature is only 1 degree higher at 26 Celsius or 78.8 degrees Fahrenheit. So there we go for that. Now, you can live comfortably for $1,000 to $1,500 a month in major cities like Ho Chi Minh or Hanoi. Rent can be as low as $200 to $300 for a one-bedroom apartment outside the city center. I think if you're going to live somewhere, that's a low. Yes, you can get by. Maybe you'll get lucky and you'll find a pretty nice place for $300. I think it's going to cost more like $400 or $500, honestly, from what I know and what people have told me. But that doesn't necessarily mean your budget's going to go way up. Now, here's the big one: is they don't really have any great visas. Tourist visa available for 30 days with possible extension up to 90 days. They are more strict about the visa runs. So if you're going out of the country and then think you're going to come back into the country, you're going to do that multiple times. It's not going to happen. They're not going to let you. They may say something. They may stop you and say, listen, this is your last time. You come back again. And, they put a note in the passport. They used to do that in Thailand. I don't know if they're doing it now. For business visa, you can get a 1 to 3 month business visa that is extendable. You can get a temporary resident card for long-term work. This is an alternative to multiple business visa renewals. And of course, if you're investing in local businesses and want a long-term option, the investor visa. Vietnam's healthcare is improving, particularly in big cities. Though for specialized treatment, you're going to need to go to Thailand or Singapore. For routine care, it's affordable and decent. The nightlife in Ho Chi Minh and Hanoi is vibrant with plenty of bars, clubs, restaurants. The scene is more laid back than Thailand's, but there's still a lot to do, from karaoke joints to nightclubs. And I went to Hue, Vietnam. Big place from the war. Well, let me see something here. Yeah, there was a Battle of Hue from January 31st, 1968 to March 2nd, 1968. And there are tanks and machine guns and all kinds of stuff throughout the country, throughout the city rather, that give you an idea of what it was like. And I mean, it's pretty gnarly. But I didn't go for that. I mean, I went and I did see a couple of the places. However, I was just stopping there for 4 days. So I went and saw these places because I was like, oh, wow, okay. I forgot why I picked Way to stop. I think it was the distance or something. But they had a street that was a party street. It just was one street, a long street that had many, many bars. And you go in there, you drink beer, you drink whatever. And it was a lot of fun. I had more fun there than I had in Ho Chi Minh or maybe not Hanoi, but probably like in the nightlife scene, I had more fun there than anywhere else. I did, however, kind of get ripped off for a banh mi sandwich, which at the time when I was there, I was getting them for anything from 10,000 riel, not riel, dong, mixing up my countries now. 10,000 dong all the way to about 35 or 40,000 dong, with the average being about 20, 25,000. And they were very, very good. But I went to one place and the girl goes, it's 40,000 or whatever. Okay. She makes it up and there was like almost no meat, almost no vegetable. I mean, it was just like 2 slabs of bread that she put together. And I was going, this is it? This is all I get? And I just kind of went, what the? I mean, it was definitely a ripoff because they were nowhere near. I mean, it was just like a tiny little bit in the bread, and that was it. Where everything else, it was like, it was sticking out of the bread. You're eating it. You're just going, oh, yeah. That's not what I got. But, it was right next to a bar. So what do I expect? Vietnamese women are traditionally family-oriented and expect commitment in relationships. There's a theme here. Casual dating is less common compared to places like Thailand. Women in larger cities might be more open, but in general, they value long-term stability. Vietnam is more conservative, particularly outside major cities. Casual sex and promiscuity are less common than in Thailand. Relationships are more about long-term commitment. So, there was a time, I don't know how they view it now, But there was a time when you were not allowed to bring a Vietnamese girl back to your room with you. They did not allow it. And they had certain hotels that you could take them to for a price. You might pay 25 bucks. And it was like a room where nobody said anything. You just go in there, you do your business, and you leave. Vietnam is growing rapidly. I'm sure we're all aware of that. And it's an excellent place for entrepreneurs. The government is encouraging foreign investment, particularly in tech, e-commerce, and manufacturing. The business environment is a bit more relaxed than in Thailand. But I think the bureaucracy in Thailand is harsh. I think in Vietnam it's a lot more harsh. And getting the visas. While in Thailand, if you're going to use an agent, first of all, you better make sure that agent is a highly reputable agent who is registered with the country, with the government, and that they're doing things on the up and up. In Vietnam, it's almost the norm that you use an agent. So maybe using an agent isn't such a bad thing. As long as they are reputable, not going to rip you off, they're doing everything by the book, then, in Vietnam, it's pretty much a must, because I was going to get a 1-year visa to Vietnam, and I had an agent, and I was looking into it, and then I just didn't do it for whatever reason. Thank you very much there, SK. Appreciate that. Thank you. How you doing, by the way? How's everything in your neck of the woods? Where are you? And all that good stuff. Let me see here. Internet in major cities is fast and reliable. Outside the cities, it can be slow, but Vietnam generally has solid infrastructure for digital nomads. One thing that I do want to do at some point, I want to go more towards the areas that really there are no foreigners in Vietnam. Good, and I'm now in Florida. Well, that's good. I love Florida. And I'll be going back fairly soon. I don't know when. Sometime within the next year, I'll be going. So I got to go back and see the parents. Just got back from Mexico. I just got back from, where did I go? I went to Vietnam, and I don't know if I went to somewhere after that. I don't know. I've been to so many places now. Yeah, it's hard for me to remember. But we did go to Vietnam about 3 months ago, and we had a great time there. Yeah, it was fantastic, man. It was really good. Good place. But I do want to go back home because I want to see my parents. I want to see my sister, but I really want to see my parents. They're getting up there, and I just don't want to. I don't want to be gone too long. You got to value your parents. I didn't really value them when I was younger because I was a bit of a partier and a hothead, and I want to do things my way. But as I've grown older, I recognize that I'm very fortunate to have the parents that I have, and I need to value them, and Thailand has taught me that, because Thai people, they value their family. Most Thai people, if they're from a functional, not a dysfunctional family, they really value their parents. And I started thinking about it, and I thought, they're the only ones who really care about me. That my wife cares about me, my kids care about me. They are family. But my mother and father, they always care about me. And, most of the time they're not very judgmental, so I'm very fortunate to have them. I know this. Mine are gone now. Yeah. I mean, I need to value them for everything they've ever done for me, because, I may not have always been the best person, but I think people, there's good and bad in everybody. And for the most part, I think I'm a pretty good person. I try to be decent to people. And I think it's because of them. I think my manners and all these kind of things. They're the ones who taught me. So I'm grateful for that. Anyway, the expat community is booming. I did not know this. In Ho Chi Minh City and also Hanoi, there are plenty of networking opportunities, especially for digital nomads and entrepreneurs. I don't, I hate to say it, but I don't value the Thai community all that much. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I just have my own family. I have my family back home who I talk to all the time. And if I value something from the community, I have a handful of friends, maybe I have 5 friends, like good friends, and the rest are, associates. But I can go to them and ask them a question about something, and they'll try to help me. Um, not like, hey, can I borrow $100,000? I mean, they're not that kind of a friend. Not that I would go and ask somebody that, but they're the kind of friends that they'll be there for you if you need, if they, you need an ear to hear you, and somebody to help you with a decision or something like that. So I value all the people I have in my life, um, probably more than maybe more than I should at times, but um, I just think it's important. I mean, I'm the guy who people that I was in the Air Force with uh, 45 years ago, I still contact them. I still write to them. We still talk. That's, I like to do those kind of things. So anyway, I don't mean to get off on a tangent there. So now we have Thailand, we have Cambodia, we have Vietnam, we have Malaysia, we have Indonesia, we have the Philippines, we have Myanmar, and we have Laos. So, how do I rank them? How are they ranked? Well, I'm going to tell you. I have it on, originally I wasn't going to bring my computer with me. And I just decided to bring my computer because sometimes I always go online and look for other stuff. And I just thought, I better bring it. But I printed out my notes. And this is 11 pages. So it was quite a lot. Now, I will tell you, this is places that I would like to go. Has nothing to do with being a tourist. And I heard somebody go, oh yeah, being a tourist and living there is just the same. No, it's not. It's nothing like when you are someone who lives in a place. It is nothing like being a tourist, because you have to switch your frame of reference. You have to think differently. Your perspective needs to be a little bit different. So number 8, this is as an expat. Number 8, Myanmar. I got to put it last. I really like the country. I really like the people. I've always had a great time there. I managed to stay out of trouble. I've never gotten into trouble in Myanmar, anything like that. Number 7, Laos. Okay, I like Laos. I actually like Myanmar a little bit more than I like Laos, but I think Laos would be a little bit better place to live than Myanmar. I think they're almost tied, but we're going to say it's number 7. Number 6, Malaysia, and this may come to as a surprise to some people, but I don't know what it is about Malaysia. I just don't particularly like the vibe I get. I mean, the people were always nice to me. Everything was good there. I've only been there a couple of times, 3, 4 times. And I don't know what it is. It's just maybe I need to go there and spend, a week or 2 there to change my thinking. Maybe need to go hang out on some beach in a little bungalow or something. I don't know. For now, it is number 6. Now, tied for number 4, because I couldn't make a decision which one I'd rather go to. All right, you know what? I'm not gonna dick around. I'm gonna say number 5 is Cambodia. I like Cambodia. I've been there, like I said, I've said it many times. I've been there probably 55 times. I've been there a lot. And I love the place. It's great. But day to day, I don't know that I love it. And my buddy loves it. So maybe if I go there, I stay with him, I hang out, I go to a few places, then maybe I'll really like it. I don't know. Maybe I could live there. But right now it ranks as number 5 on my list. So Myanmar, Laos, Malaysia, Cambodia, and number 4 is Indonesia, because I like Indonesia a lot. I really like it. I loved it in Bali. I thought it was fantastic. And the thing is, I didn't get the same push from the vendors that I got here in Thailand. The same thing goes with like Kathmandu. The people who were selling you stuff, they asked you something once and you said no, and they just left you alone. They didn't bother you. They didn't follow you. They didn't keep going after you. I mean, sometimes in Thailand, I feel like they ask you a question about something, if you're going to buy it or not, and you don't want to buy it, and they're pissed off at you. They get angry. And it's like, listen, I'm not obligated to buy anything from you. At a facility in Malaysia, I have the same feeling as you do. Nice folks, but they're a bit arm's length, I think. Yeah. So that's why, you know, um, I really like Indonesia. And would I live there? I mean, I don't know. Bali, I could see us living there actually. I don't think, now this is outside of Southeast Asia. I would rather live in Ecuador or in Portugal than I would in Indonesia. Um, but in Southeast Asia, Indonesia ranks up there. My wife didn't really like it that much. I don't know why. She was just like, eh. I mean, we had some good meals. We had some great meals there, but that doesn't make you want to live in a place. For me, it was the whole vibe. One thing that I did see in Bali is, depending on where you were, there were just like in Thailand, in some places, too many tourists. I don't want to see too many tourists. Sometimes there's just too many damn tourists. It doesn't do a thing for me. Uh, as far as Ecuador goes, I loved Ecuador, but I was staying at my buddy's house. We were staying at my buddy's house. We all had our own rooms. Me and my wife had a room. My kids, they had their own room. Um, we were there with my buddy, and we were right next to the beach. We were 30 minutes away from Puerto Lopez, which was great. We took a little 20 cent bus ride, went down there, and I mean, I took photos and video, and we got all kinds of fish and shrimp and everything. The medical care there is very good. They have private and public. Uh, you can get good health insurance there for less than $100 a month if you're older. It's a nice place. The only thing, and it's close to Florida. The only thing is, moving my family to Ecuador is a huge ordeal. It's not like I'm just saying, okay, Scott's going to go live in Ecuador. Now, if we just told the kids, listen, we're going for 2 months, we're going to stay in Ecuador, you guys are on your own, you got the house, you're going to need to pay the bills, and you got your own money, you got your jobs, you're going to have to do what you got to do. You got to take care of yourself. And we check up on them periodically. Okay, I can see that. I can't see bringing them over and having them live with us in Ecuador. I can't see that happening unless we started a business. My wife thought about starting a Thai restaurant there and all this stuff. And it's too much of a hassle, man. I mean, it can be a hassle. So, um, so number 4 is Indonesia. Some people may not agree with me, but that's why it's my list, not yours. Number 3, the Philippines. And I know there's a lot of poverty in the Philippines and people don't like poverty. And okay, guess what? You can stay in a place that is nice and it's right next to a place that is poverty stricken. You can stay in a place that is nice and guess what? It's next to somewhere that is a luxury destination. So you don't have to always be around the poverty. You can situate yourself to where you don't have to be around that. I know this because I've been there many times. And I would say that, it's a good place. And would I like to live there with my family? Probably not. By myself, would I live there? Yeah, probably. But more so than like Myanmar. I just couldn't see myself living in Myanmar by myself. That's like me living in the heart of Africa somewhere. I don't see myself doing it. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be away from the nicer things in life. Good morning. Good morning. I want to be around. I want to be in a place where, like, if I get hurt, I can be taken to the hospital within 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I'm at the hospital. They're taking care of me. I'm not going to die. Not I got to take a 5-hour trip to get somewhere. And in the old days, I'd be like, okay, but you know what? I'm older now. I don't want to have to worry about that stuff. That's why I wouldn't live in Alaska anymore. When I first moved here, I thought, and I went to Alaska and I was working in Alaska. I thought, man, Alaska is such a nice place. Man, I could live here. And they pay you to live there. They don't pay you all that much. But if you got, 4 people in your family, well, they might pay you 10 grand. So when you're thinking about that, wow, it sounds pretty good, right? That 10 grand is like, that's like for the cost of living because it's more expensive in Alaska. Everything's more expensive. I'm 62. So, to go there now, I'd have to live in like Anchorage, or I'd have to live in one of the big cities. Because if I didn't, I wouldn't be around any health care. It'd be a pain in the ass, and the cost of living would be a lot more. I don't want that. Listen, it's about the value. It's not about getting the cheapest price. But if you're going to live somewhere, you might as well get a good value on your money and like the place where you live. Right? So, yeah, the Philippines, I would set myself up somewhere, like right on the water somewhere. Nice little apartment, and where people don't bother you. And I'll tell you what, one thing that sometimes bothers me here in Thailand is that the Thais are so nosy. They are really nosy. I get on a motorcycle. Hey, where are you going? I'm going to the coffee shop. Oh, you're going to go drink coffee now, huh? I didn't think it was open. Why are you going there? What do you mean, why am I going there? I'm going there to have a coffee. Then it's, where did you Paitio? Oh, Paitio T9. Where are you going? And then it's like, I don't really want to tell you where I'm going. I don't want to tell you my life story. And I just laugh. Sometimes I just laugh. They're like, oh, Pai Nai. Oh, Mary Pai Nai. I'm not going anywhere. I just ignore them. Because, I don't want to let it get to me. It's not something that, if they're asking you something that you need to get nasty with them. You don't have to. Sometimes they're trying to be friendly. Sometimes they're just nosy. It is what it is. Number 2 on the list, as they say in Thailand, Vietnam. 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 I like Da Nang. Although I liked, what was that other city we went to? What the hell was the name of it? I don't even remember it. What is the city? Hoi An. I liked Hoi An. I liked Hoi An a lot. Very nice place. Yeah. I mean, I like it. I like it there. They got the coffee scene. Okay, that's great. That's good for, you want to go out with your buddies and have a little drink, but you don't want to get hammered. Go to a coffee shop. You want to go out for good food. They got great food in Da Nang and Hoi An and all over Vietnam. There's fantastic food. They have very, very good food. All right, you take it easy there, Steve. Easy, easy, easy. So they have excellent food there. Um, you can't go wrong with it. I mean, it's just like, listen, and the thing is that the prices generally are a little bit lower than Thailand. Oh, there's a couple of exceptions. We went to this one place. What was it called? I don't remember, but it had to do with beer. It was some brewery or something, which I don't know why they called it a brewery. Maybe they brewed their own. Well, I guess they did brew their own beer, but that was not the main thing. The thing was the food, but it was expensive. I mean, it was like, you wanted an appetizer. It was $8 to $10 for an appetizer. It was $15 for, a plate of like you want to get some dish, and it was like $15. And I was like, wow, $15 for like a dinner just for the main course in Da Nang. I'm like, that's a little bit expensive. We went out for tacos and uh, well, we had tacos, quesadilla, burritos. It was like $15 for the whole meal. This was like three burritos, a bunch of tacos, some soup, and it was $15. That was like how many people? 5 people, and my wife only had the soup, which was like $1.50 or something. And we were like, "Oh my god, I can't believe it's this cheap." So I would say that about Vietnam. If you're going there, enjoy the food. Yeah, enjoy the food and enjoy the low cost of everything while it still lasts. Because I dare say that in the coming years, like anything else, uh, the cost of living will probably increase there. So, okay, so that's number 2. So let me go over it again. Number 8, Myanmar. Number 7, Laos. Number 6, Malaysia. Number 5, Cambodia. Number 4, Indonesia. Number 3, the Philippines. Number 2, Vietnam. And number 1, where else? Thailand. I honestly don't believe there's a better all around place to live than Thailand. Uh, yeah, I mean, I don't know if my kids they were American 100%. If my wife was American, where would we go? And I think Thailand is probably the best place. I don't know why exactly, but it's just a feeling. The vibe I get here is, I mean, I'm so chilled here, really. Most of the time, I mean, I'm chilled about everything. I don't have to worry about anything. I'm not stressed. I can communicate very easily, whether it's English or Thai. It doesn't matter to me. Like sometimes I'll be speaking a little bit of Thai to somebody, and then they'll switch over to English. I'm like, you don't have to speak to me, and their English is, not that great. I'm like, you don't have to speak to me in English. You can speak to me in Thai. I understand everything. Like in the hospital, the nurse was like trying to speak in English. I go, you don't have to speak in English. You can speak in Thai. It's all right. And so she spoke in Thai to me, and maybe once or twice I was like, what was that word she said? But I understood everything. So to me, that's why this place is the best. What else can I say? So what do you think? Let me know right now in the chat, or if you're watching this afterwards, although you may not be able to watch much longer because I'm thinking about that every stream will just go private, go to the members only. I think that's what's going to happen. And you know, that's a good reason to get a membership. It's only $1.99. I mean, come on. If you really like me that much, fork over the $2. I don't know what else to say. But I'm thinking about doing that. But leave a comment. I won't do it on this one, but leave a comment and let me know, where do you think is the best place to live in Southeast Asia? I'm not talking about around the world, because I think there are better places to live than most of the places that I have on this list. I would say probably 3 or 4, maybe 5 places are acceptable as places to live, but they might not even rank in the top 20. If I was to have 50 places, if I try to come, let's say it came up with 25 places, they may be in the top 20, but that's about it, if that. Like, I don't know where I would put Indonesia and Cambodia, you know. So hopefully you still hear me out there, and you can put something in the chat, or you can put it down below in the comments. I'd appreciate it. Yeah, that's about it. Those are 8 places where you could live in Southeast Asia. And I often think to myself, why did I come to Southeast Asia? Why didn't I go to Europe? Because I would love to live in, like Sicily, Malta, Sardinia. I'd love to live in some of these places. Croatia, maybe. I don't know. You know, why didn't I go over there? I wanted to live in Amsterdam for a long time. Not Amsterdam, Breda, which is in the south of the Netherlands, near the border of Belgium. I wanted to live there for a long time. But, you know, I figured it out. And I was like, logistically, it's not a great place to live. Not for me. So, anyway, I think that's all I have. These are your 8 expat cities in Southeast Asia to consider, whether you're looking for a low cost of living. Yeah, the air quality at this time is probably similar to most of Southeast Asia. Yes, did a good job. I want to raise a family in a safe place, Singapore. For us normal folk, Thailand is great. Listen, I know a guy who had a family. He's a guy that I knew before he had a family, and he met a girl. They got married. Nice girl. They had a couple of kids, and he then moved. He used to live in Bangkok. He moved to Singapore, and he told me, yeah, Singapore is good to sock away money. He goes, but he goes, to live here, he goes, eh. And I've often said that because I've stayed in Singapore many times for weeks at a time, for a month one time, and I was on somebody else's bill, and I still was like, this place is boring as hell to me. And I went to the clubs, I went to little bars, I went, Singaporeans took me out to places, and I just thought to myself, everybody here is concerned about business, 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 business. And that's not how I think. Listen, I don't have that kind of incentive in my head. I cannot, I'm not that motivated. I'm not so motivated. I'm thinking about business every minute of the day. And I kind of found that to be true in Singapore. And that's why I didn't pick Singapore as a place to live. Now, he moved there. He was living there. And guess what? He moved back to England. He lives in England now. I've talked to him, once every, every year or two. I've talked to him. It's been a while. But he moved back to England. He didn't want to live in Singapore. He got out of there. I just can't see Singapore as a place that I want to live. Listen, if Singapore on that list, I'd probably put it right above Myanmar because I just don't like it as a place to live. As a place to visit, listen, I'd visit there for 3 nights. That's it. That's what I recommend for Singapore. Go there for 3 nights. Unless you're a gambler and you want to go in the casino or you're going to go see shows all the time that you're there, okay. When I was going there on the regular, there was no casino. Well, I can, man, 9 years, that's a lot. I mean, really. So, yeah, I wouldn't, I don't know what it is about Singapore. It's kind of like Malaysia. There's something about it that kind of turns me off. And, maybe that's not the case for some people. Some people are they want that big city. They want, everything to be the way that it's supposed to be and things to run super efficiently. That's not me. Anyway, the thing is, Southeast Asia has something for everybody. You can go all kinds of places, and there's something for everyone. My best might not be your best. I understand. Um, and, your best depends on what you need and what you want and what your goals are. When I moved here, I didn't really have any goals. I mean, I didn't have long term, like in 10 years, I'm going to do this. In 5 years, I didn't have that. I want to move to Thailand. I want to set myself up in Thailand. That was my goal. And I've done that very well, or I wouldn't have been here for 30 years. Listen, if you enjoyed this stream, this breakdown, don't forget to hit the like button. I'd appreciate it very much. Share it with your friends. Share this video with your friends, the stream with your friends. Subscribe for more content if you're not already subscribed. If you would like a consultation or you would like to send me a Dear Scott letter, I don't get many of those anymore, but I would like to see some, as long as they're legit. You can do so. Just send it right to an American in Bangkok at gmail.com. It'll get to me, and I'll make a determination and figure out everything. We can work something out. So yeah, that's about all I have. End of my notes. Here we go. All righty. So until next time, I am Scott. I am an American in Bangkok. Bangkapi, to be specific. Until next time, choke the leo jerkin mai. That is choke the, and see you next time. See you again. All right. See you later. Be well.